Brother,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you for stepping in. Bring a plate. I don't even know what episode we're in. We're doing a special episode because Drummy, obviously, when we said that you won't see Drummy, my co-host, it means that his baby number 3 is on the way.
Congratulations, Drummy.
Yeah, you'll meet him one day.
Yeah.
2!
Yes.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the world? To our 56 listeners on Spotify and a couple of hundred.
It's about to be 40. Yeah, Tumama Tu'ulua, more commonly known as Tu or Tu, if you're Pakeha. Yeah, born and bred here in Christchurch. I was educated here as well, so including here at the University of Canterbury, where we're at right now. That's where we met too. A father these days. So 3 girls under 5. None of them listen to me. Recently stopped playing rugby as well. So trying to be a dad, a husband, and a student too. So
and an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Businessman, consultant.
Yeah.
Leader in the community.
Hopefully. But have our own little consultancy, do a bit of contracting. The work's a bit random, which is, definitely has its upsides, but then it's a bit hard to handle sometimes. But just one foot in front of the other, I think.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for having me. You're in the middle of lectures. You're on lunch break. Did you need to go out and do karakia for Bailangi's out there?
Being covered. Did it in 3 languages.
Okay.
Oh, go on, give us one.
Well, I can't.
Well, on that, because Drummy always does karakia before we break into kai. So before we do that, did you want to do karakia for us today? Because you're in Drummy's chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, me no tātou, let us pray. Te sumane asu for me mātou, te mene au noa, mātou mafu te whatashi, mātou talo, whela wala whingalo, mātou roto. Ko Shafi Yeshu, Amen.
Thank you, brother. That's
Amen.
Just on the spot. Okay. Bro, this is real relaxed. We're just going to vibe off this. I have, as I said, first segment's all about food.
Yes.
I have Captain Ben's.
Yes.
Captain Ben's, for anyone who doesn't know, well, if you're a UC student or if you live in the Riccarton area, you know that there's a couple of fish and chip spots that are gems. For us, it's Captain Ben's.
100%.
So, I asked you, what would you order? Tell me. And you said anything. And then you said potato fritters. So, we got that. Potato fritters. Now, as students, we would wait for student allowance day.
Yes.
And then Tuesday, and then go all in on how many potato fritters everyone's going to get. I'm going to throw it all out here.
Beautiful.
And I even got, and then you said to me, but if I'm thinking of the 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 20 chicken burgers. Is that an urban myth, or have you down 20 Captain Ben chicken?
Oh, no. I mean, so I think, Captain Ben's staple. I think that if I was 18, 19, because of the budget that I had, this was definitely the go-to. I don't know how much it is these days, but back then, I think for 7 fritters was like $2.10, which just blew my mind. And then as I got a little bit older, then I shifted to the chicken burger.
Yeah.
When I had a little bit more money.
Doing a little bit of part-time work. Did you ever bounce at the foundry?
No, I wasn't cool enough. I don't think I was over 100 kgs either, so I think there was.
Okay.
You had to be Samoan and Kusa and over 100 kgs.
Yeah. You took 2, but you did.
Like 97, dripping wet. So
Okay.
I was just about to, then the earthquake shut it down. So.
Oh. Okay. Well, let's get into it. So I've got Captain Ben potato fritters. The urban myth is when you order 3, you may get 4 or 5, right?
100%.
My wife, how many did you order?
I just said potato fritters, please.
Oh, okay. And then how many did they give us? 1, 2. Yeah. I mean, there's 3, 6, 8
and a half.
8.5. So that's that's decent. So dig in, brother. These are the potato fritters. I'm just gonna look straight down the barrel here. Yeah, give it ASMR. These potato fritters are legend. But it'd be interesting to try them after so many years.
I mean, I don't eat fish and chips that much anymore, but that tastes amazing to me. I don't have a dedicated social media channel reviewing food, so
Yeah. Is there any potato in that?
not in your.
If we look down there. Oh my gosh.
That's just personality.
That's,
Better.
that's just oil and batter. Let's try and pick another one. Here's some potato. Try it out, Lynn. I got my wife and my daughter off camera. I picked the smallest. You gave me 3 options
Yes.
for rooms. I picked the smallest one.
Yeah.
It's contained. It's steaming in here.
Yeah.
I've had to run to my car because I forgot some kit, and now I'm sweating. You've just left lectures early. Okay, cool. So everyone's going to be rolling in soon.
I think they're going to do an eating session
Oh, okay.
instead of an hour dedicated, so I'm just going to stay.
Okay.
Because yeah.
Okay. So you're allowed to. You wouldn't want in trouble here. Okay. Easy.
No.
Okay. Next on the menu is the chips. I don't know if you remember the chips. Try these.
That fritter was heavy.
Dense, but thin potato. Heavy on the batter.
Needs a bit of salt, I reckon. And that's weird because I don't really eat salt, but not bad.
Yeah. The nostalgia factor isn't hitting me at the moment. But I'm going to half this fish. Do you eat fish? You're not allergic to fish? No.
Can you tell by just looking at it the type of fish that it is?
No, I don't. But I can tell that this is really thin. Now, I don't want to drop names or anything, but Captain Ben's retired a few years back.
Yes.
So I think his nephew's taken over. But this just doesn't feel like the Captain Ben's I remember. This fish is really thin. I was on 7 Sharp one time, and I asked to film in Captain Ben's.
Oh yeah, sure.
So yeah, and yeah, just because I rate it, I love it, but this just feels different.
Or do you reckon the opposite argument is that we've just gotten bigger, blown out, and unfortunately these fish seem thinner?
There's that too. I just don't remember, and I'm gonna have to rewind on my fish and chip review when I did those guys maybe 4 years ago. I don't remember the fish being this thin.
Yeah, that's pretty.
This is paper thin.
The potato fritters are almost thicker.
Yeah. Now, I got a lot of crap online when I was talking about fish in Auckland, and you probably know more than me because you've lived in Auckland. A lot of the fish and chip shops batter on spot. So you order a fish and they're like, yep, they grab the fillet, dip it in the flour, batter, and they don't do that as much down here. And I got a lot of crap online when I said, I can't believe it. I was raving like, this shop fries on the spot. And then everyone up north were like, that's just normal. What this idiot on about? How else do they do fish and chips? Most fish and chip shops in the South Island pre-fry it in the morning. Or during the week and freeze it. And then they just grab it out frozen or from the morning and fry it for the second time. This has got that second or third fry feel to this.
Yes. And it's funny, I didn't really notice it either, because they would crumb as well, whether you wanted crumbed or battered on the spot, but I didn't really think, I didn't notice a difference until, you mentioned it, compared, Auckland compared to here. But then again, I don't have fish and chips as often as I used to.
Well, you're BFTing it?
No, I'm doing nothing.
Oh.
Which is great.
Okay.
But I'm gonna start back. I started slowly back into hit squad.
Yeah, hit squad.
Just because it's the thing I hate the most, so it's probably a good place to start.
Yeah.
And then, and I've enjoyed. A lot of people stop playing footy, and then they find it hard. You miss the camaraderie, you miss the fitness, and you already know, right? Like you're not training as much as you usually would with the team. You're not doing a gym as much.
Yeah.
And then also because you're but like I've filled my time with other stuff, like really cool things too. So that's made it easier to not train. But mate, tying the shoelaces is getting a little bit hard. So I was like, I told someone, I was like, man, I've been retired for about 16 months.
Yeah.
And I've put on around 16 kgs.
Well, yeah.
So I have consistently gained. I kg a month because I'm a winner. But yeah, I think it's time to get back into it.
Refocus on it.
Yeah.
Well, before you hung up the boots,
Mm-hmm.
you were captain of the West Coast Heartland rugby team.
Yeah.
So you were one of those players that didn't live in the area, had to travel for training, travel in for games or wherever. But you also were creating some cool content while you were doing your travelling around. And you started doing food content. And you started talking about the different foods in club rooms. Tell me about that. What is the staple Heartland meal? Because I'm thinking, Div 3 country rugby, it's still hearty meal at country ways.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Heartland rugby must be the same.
I think they probably have a little bit more budget than the 3, and even compared to like metro competition here in Christchurch. And again, because you're now at that, obviously not NPC, but that those are proud unions too. So again, it's a bit of a reflection on your club.
Yeah.
So hearty, but completely different cuisine depending on where you are. Like you might play in Ruatoria, Ngāti Porou territory, and it's a hangi that you have there, which is unreal.
Yeah.
And then you might be somewhere else down south, and it's not that kind of cuisine, but it's quite nice. And even for us as the West Coast, we have a pretty big spread by the hotel that sponsors us. That family's been part of the Coast Union for a wee while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I started that content because, for those that don't know, like Heartland's a semi-professional competition. So I think the definition is that you get paid, but it's not enough that you can sustain.
Yeah. You're all full-time working.
Yeah.
And playing this competition.
Yeah. And for the West Coast specifically, like the West Coast as a region is massive. Like it goes from like Fox Glacier all the way up to just beneath Westport. So like that's quite a distance within the region. And then about a third of our players come from Christchurch and about a third come from Nelson, or maybe a quarter, with half coming locally. So then there are obviously rules around that, but there's a big contingent of us that have played locally. I think it's a minimum of 3 games to be eligible. So by the time it comes to Heartland season, we're coming from heaps of different towns. So then at the beginning of the season, I was like, man, someone should like follow our team. Like when we play, we had boys coming from Wellington, Nelson, Christchurch, across the West Coast region, and our first 5 was from Dunedin. So anytime we played anywhere, like we'd only get to train together on a Friday night. So we'd arrive, train, check in, sleep, play, and then go our separate ways after the game. So that's kind of where it came from. Yeah. And I asked the young bucks, but I don't know why. They're like, oh, maybe we should start it. But I didn't have TikTok. But anyway, started it, and then off the back of it, it's those things that you don't really realize. Like when you play rugby, you're used to it, but like the average person doesn't realize that how an after-match function happens. Like even at All Blacks level, after your game, you go with the opposition team, have a feed. There are speeches by people. Yeah. So I was like, so I started getting into that, and then because the feeds are next level, I thought I'd rank my top 3. Okay. And then I got a bit of flack because I think any other year it would have been Ngāti Porou. Like, every other year that was my first one. And then I got a bit of flack because I put the West Coast feed at second. So a lot of people were like, oh, that's a bit biased. And all of the North Islanders were like, yeah, your feed's mean, but you only get like half a piece of fish. And I was like, oh, true. Because I'm the captain, so I get a bit of a bigger portion. Yeah, yeah. So they're like, you shouldn't have put your own one in there. Yep. And I was like, oh, yeah, fair enough. And then my number 1 was actually Horowhenua Kapiti. And that surprised me because we beat them in the semi-final in Levin in like the 83rd minute. Yeah. It was high scoring, no defense. Yeah. I think it was like 50 points per team. Wow. But so they were kind of, not in a great mood, obviously, when you lose like that at home. Yeah. But then the catering company is a Samoan family over there. So the food was, honestly, it was unreal. So that was my top 3. But then you had all the hearty Ngāti Porou from across New Zealand that, fair enough. It's my favourite place to play and to travel to. So what is this? What made it number 1? What is the actual meal? Oh man, so it's all islander food. Yeah. So it was like green bananas with coconut cream, chopped soy, fried fish, fried chicken.
Love it.
Like it was,
Yeah.
literally it was like a Sunday kuma'i. So, and
So there were no veggies.
nah. I think there was like veggies in the curry. Like, yeah.
Some carrots.
But they whalifu everything. That's what cracked me up. Like, because they had coconut cream. Oh, whalifu is when you put coconut cream for our non-Samoans.
For our 56 non-Samoan Spotify listeners.
For the 2 that are still listening. So yeah, you put it on like green bananas, but then they had whalifu like even the potatoes. So I was like, this is amazing. So yeah, the one, Bangati Pro, just because of the whole experience, the food's amazing too.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize you could have a bad hangi, and then I had some, and I was like, oh, okay.
What made it bad?
Sorry, not that one. Oh, the other one's just a bit dry, you know.
A bit under.
A bit under, and then I also had the bit over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had stuffing where it's like you could break a window with it. But then when I went to Ngati Porou, I was like, oh, this is how it's
should be done.
And then because it's, again, we're talking about the treaty here and stuff like that and Māoridom, but like even the aftermatch is done in the way that, you know, like the CEO will get up and speak. When she sits down, the whole team gets up and does a wide scribble. The captain does the same thing. And then they do a haka. And as you're eating, they do waiata. Like it's literally marae styles. And then Hati too. Like I remember I'd never been there before. And at the time, I didn't realise, but when the West Coast play the East Coast for Heartland, it's the longest that 2 teams have to travel in New Zealand to play. So that year, it's probably shorter now, but the boys would fly they would meet in Hokitika, so from wherever they are on the West Coast, then they'll fly Hokitika to Christchurch, and that's where the Nelson boys would meet and everyone, and then they would fly Christchurch to Auckland, and at that time I was living in Auckland, so that's where I'd meet them. And I'd go Auckland to Gizzy, and then in the morning we'd do a 2.5 bus trip to Ruatoria, and that's the whole, so I remember when we went there, I think 7 Sharp actually, they met us at the airport, they followed us. They actually thought they were going to get their first win of the season at that game, but no, we didn't let them. But so we got there, and the community just comes out like, they had a DJ when we were warming up, you know, people backing up their pickup trucks, and then when the haka came on, obviously there's just 23 of us. Then the team comes on, the B team came on, the kids came on. There a couple of uncles on horses, like one of them spray painted blue with the flag, and it's like, but this whole community in front of you doing a haka and you're just sitting there like, so it's, I think it was that game that kind of made me be like, oh yeah, this competition is...
it means something.
It means something. And you know, back then I was young and I was like, oh yeah, like I feel like I'm good enough to play whatever level. But Heartland gave me an opportunity to play when I hadn't really been playing throughout the year. And then, which is obviously why I ended up coming back a few years later. But
part of, you know, captain duties is your speeches, and also some more content you put out was gifting the other team. And what was the West Coast? What was your go-to as a coach, as a captain, go-to gift?
Oh sheesh, what was it? I think it was a tie.
Oh
yeah. So for the West Coast, like you mentioned, at the end of those speeches, your captain will always say something. And then on behalf of the unions, you'll present them a gift, but then the captain gets to keep it. So like I was lucky enough that I got to keep some stuff. So our stock standard was a tie, but then because you're traveling half of the time, sometimes the manager would forget. So then sometimes it was a beanie. And then we had cheese cutters with the West Coast at the back. So then there's a couple of times where the captain's like, "Can I just have a cheese cutter?" So you just give it over. But
what was the best gift you got?
Oh, I think. Probably the quirkiest is that South Canterbury, they gave me a box and they had barkers on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get some good work clothes. And then like I looked at it and they're like strawberries on the box, and then I opened it and I didn't realise it's a local Timaru company that makes jams and stuff.
They just needed a box to put it in.
No, it was a variety box with like jams and stuff. So then I ended up giving it to my mum and she loved it. But I was like, so that's probably the quirkiest. But I think, I love a cap. So I think there's a few. King Country have a cap sponsored by Gilbert, which is a little bit different. Gilbert. The Swamp Foxes are sponsored by Dynasty, so I like the Dynasty kit. But Ngati Porou, I think they have a local supplier, but we got a training top. But I think it was the same thing. They weren't meant to give a training top, but I think they forgot and then just threw me whatever was next. So that was, that's definitely my favorite piece of kit. But actually, I ended up giving it to he does tattoos here. He's a kaumātua here in Christchurch. I went when my mate was getting his done, and then he was saying that he's Ngāti. So I was like, oh well, I have a training top if you want it. So my favorite piece of kit, but that's now with him. But it's all part of it. He's obviously from there, and it probably means a little bit more to him than me. So
Ngāti Porou, the meanest feeds, and the meanest gifts,
and the best experience. Like just because a lot of people talk about, what does it mean to be a Kiwi and what makes it different playing in New Zealand versus say Oz or South Africa, and it's not often that you see it like that. We talk a lot about the haka and what the All Blacks bring before games and stuff like that, but then typically that's where it kind of ends. You still have people that feel a bit iffy about the anthem being in Māori first. To kind of see it the whole way wrapped around the experience in Ngāti Porou, and it's all of those, Horowhenua Kapiti does a haka too, Poverty Bay, because that practically Ngāti Porou too. So, and it's funny, we're talking about it in class right now, but one of the things in talking about captain duties and talking about speeches, again, it's not a big thing, but when I was captain, because obviously you do a speech, so I would try to do a little mihi or pepeha at the beginning. So I made an effort wherever I was to find out who mana whenua was, of where I was at, and then just give them a shout out. Well, it's not a shout out, but
acknowledge
them as mana whenua
on their land.
And the cool thing is that we played King Country in Taupo. We got pumped, and this was like round robin, and then we ended up playing King Country in the final, but in Tikawiti. But I had asked one of the players, and then he told me, and I was like, cool. Didn't think anything of it. We ended up losing that final, which was my last game, in overtime by 1 point. And I was sitting there feeling sorry for myself, and the same guy had come up to me while I was just sitting there just chilling, and it was like, oh, just to let you know, like the mana whenua of this, what we were at now is, I think it was Ngāti Whātua at the time. But I was sitting there, I was just like, oh man, he remembers that I had asked him like 4 or 5 weeks earlier, and realised that obviously the King Country region is huge. There's obviously a lot more iwis that are split across, or mana, So he'd obviously remembered, came and found me, even though I was hating all of them at that time. And I was just like, hey, just let you know. And then I was like, and then that kind of clicked me into it too. I was like, okay, well. And it's one of those, it's bigger than 40 kind of things too. And again, I'm Samoan, so I think it's a little bit, again, you're a captain that's representing your region, and obviously mana whenua and Ngaitahu and all that from the West Coast, but then obviously when you go over there to these different, and again, because they're all across the country, it's just something small, like it's not a big thing, but you do see the appreciation, and for people that don't know and don't care, cool.
It's just a speech.
It's just a speech. But then I think, again, when it comes to captain's duties, and I think because I was a little bit older too, and rugby for me was more than just a sport at that point, like it's just, which is what you miss now, right? It's the relationships, it's the after the match, it's the training stuff.
It's not on the field stuff.
Nah. Like as a competitor, that's you do miss, smoking people and getting smoked, but that was the. But yes, I ramble. But,
no, I love that. I guess I enjoyed following the journey of the TikTok channel, and your journey as the captain of the West Coast team, and so I just wanted to highlight that in this convo. Before we move to the next section, take a bite of your chicken burger. Is it the same as when you were a 20-year-old? I need to just wash my mouth.
So I think, in terms of taste, I think that came secondary. I think the very first time I saw this, someone brought a chicken burger to the student house, the Pacific House, or the Whale as it was known, and it was this part. It was the fact that half of the
burger
fillet was outside of the actual burger. It looks like it's the same size. I feel like cheeseburgers have shrunk, but it looks like the bun is the.
It's like same measurement. Hold it up for the camera. Oh, you can hold it with your hands. It's all good, bro. And then that's would amaze us, as if you had enough money to buy a chicken burger, you thought, I'm getting a deal here. because the chicken doesn't fit into the burger. So I'm getting a burger and a bit. Ripping.
I don't even know where to start.
Tastes the same?
Yeah, tastes the same. Yeah.
That's it. That's the spot. Captain Ben's, if you are ever thinking about studying at UC, it's probably, well, for us, it was like a rite of passage. You know, we used to come to level 3, drop our bags, you know, claim a spot in the library, and then pretty much head off for the day. And then head off, whether it was lectures or not, but part of the day was always getting a feed and then just mucking around. And Captain Ben's was the cheapest thing. I mean, you would. What else was there around? Hang Seng.
Yeah.
They were always good.
Yeah.
Then they left. They left after the earthquake.
Yeah.
I never ever tried that Indian place. The
Oh yeah.
On right near the pedestrian crossing.
Yeah. Yeah. Forgot about that. Now it's just the open space now.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't remember any other. I mean, apart from the supermarket, if you had time to walk there, because there was a big group of us, couldn't all fit in one car.
And it changed a lot, right? Like the student centre, with the old school foundry, that left pretty well. Because I started in 2010, and then the earthquake, the big one was 2011. So then I went from foundry to nothing.
Yeah.
And then the temporary foundry, which now is actually a church.
Is it?
Out east.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's you can hire it. It's a great venue actually.
Is that the temporary one that your wife had her 21st in?
Yeah.
Oh, that building.
So the crazy thing is that they left years ago. So I have no idea where that building was sitting in the meantime. But that's now out in Shirley. There's a church there. I think All Saints. So if you drive past that, that's literally the foundry, but it's now a permanent fixture there.
The story that building has.
Yes. I think I saw Savage in there. I don't think that's what I was going to see in there, but yeah, it was, So when I think about the food outlets and stuff like that, like, and to your point, where Captain Ben's doesn't actually sit on campus, so when Hang Seng left, when that Indian place left, even the sushi place that was there, because Captain Ben sat outside of that, it's always kind of just been there.
In constant, eh? In the dairy.
And the dairy. The V dairy.
The V dairy.
I don't even know if it's still a V dairy, but.
Oh yeah, you go to Captain Ben's for your feed, and then you go to the dairy for your drink or your sweet treat.
Yeah, and Captain Ben, he's actually it's been a while now. He's been retired. Yeah, but I remember we used to play a game where you used to try and say goodbye last. And you'd be like,
no, well, remind me.
So, because he'd always say, you'd be like, oh, thank you, Saya, thank you. And you say, thank you, Lars, thank you, Lars.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh yeah, thank you, Saya, thank you. Like, you'd never get it, like, you just try and say thank you and dip out and say, oh, thank you. And it's like, okay. Yeah. It's a little
game.
A little game. I don't think I ever won, but he's not even looking at you. And it's just half hour out the door. Like, thank you. Is that okay? Yeah, thank you. And I'm like, oh, sheesh.
Autopilot.
That's how bored I used to get sometimes, but shout out Captain Ben's, man.
Shout out Captain Ben. Thank you for the feed today. We're going to pack this up. We'll go to a break and we'll come back for the next part. We'll vibe off that.
You know what that sound is? Hooey! It is the sound of experience. 40 years of it, actually. Our mates at Makihihi Fries know how to grow a golden potato. They really do make the best fries. They supply the show every week, and you know what? To be honest, the reason I show up is for the crinkle cuts. Crinkle, steak, or straight cut. Grab a bag next time you're at the shops. Ka mihi te kai Makihihi. Thanks for keeping us fed, team.
Welcome back, whānau. Welcome back, everybody, to my listeners and our family on YouTube. Welcome back to Bring a Plate. So we talked about our time, I guess, as students and roughing it out. That was like, how many years ago? Like
lifetime ago, I don't even know.
And then full circle, mate, we're back here. You're in lectures. It is a Saturday. So what's this?
So currently doing my MBA, so doing my masters. So for every course that you do, every course has to have a block weekend. So that's where you're in class Friday, Saturday, 9 to 5. Just because we're also the only program that does 3 terms. So it's condensed. So this is the way they kind of get around it. So this is my block weekend for leadership. So yeah, we'll finish today at 5 and I've been here since 9. But
Okay.
just part of it now.
And how have we come to this? We've, because you've actually, we talked about being students, but you actually worked for university.
Yeah.
Both 2 universities.
And a politics.
Yeah.
So I think when I was a student, it's such a random story, but long story short, when I was a student, I was studying, and someone in the Pacific team walked into the student house, and essentially was just like, "Hey, I really need some help. Does anyone in here have a full license?" And I was packed, and I was the youngest in the house.
Yeah.
So I didn't say anything. I was still quite young, and like no one answers him for ages.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, "Okay, so no one," and I was like, "Oh, I do. I have a full license." Turns out I was the only one in there that did. And then he's just like, "Oh, I'll pay you $50. I need someone to pick up the van, pick up a volleyball net, set it up, and then at the end put it back." And I was like, "Oh, yo, I can do that."
Yeah.
So long story short, I did that, became a casual for the Pacific team, and then ended up doing data entry, ended up doing like random little event stuff, and then later on became like the events coordinator, and then ended up being engagement. So that included comms, and then when we were talking earlier about how
many people in this room?
there was 10.
10, and you were the only one that was
But no one, is that because there's a statistic there?
I'm talking about our friends, by the way.
Yeah. And there's a
I would have
statistic.
named them, but
No, I don't mind naming them, but there's a statistic there somehow, right? That out of 10, one in 10 islanders had a full license. Is that what we're saying?
And I was like 18. I was because again, I went to Lincoln High School, so all my friends were fully licensed.
Drumming tractors.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They judged me, and I got mine when I was still 17. They were like,
I'll get a license too. Yeah.
But so
that one moment,
100%.
10, it could have been any of those other 9.
Yeah.
But it was 17-year-old to, wow.
Yeah, I was like 17, 18. Yeah.
And then that just led to this pathway.
Yeah.
And accelerated pathway.
Yeah.
Because there's just lots of jobs that they don't have capacity to do, and you just jumping in those roles.
I probably would hold off using the word accelerated.
Okay.
Because when we talked about the my budget changing, because most people will start uni at 18, finish at 21. But I was here long enough where I could start affording chicken burgers because my degree took so long.
Yeah.
And rugby kind of feeds into that too. Like I was
well, you had to take a lot of time off,
But but 100%. Like that was, and I think about that often because I'm like, that was literally it. I set up a volleyball net, and then from there it was the data entry, and then anytime they needed drivers for any kind of high school tutoring program, I was obviously one of them. And then it kind of just grew from there. And then when I eventually graduated, at that time I was the Pacific Engagement Coordinator here at the University of Canterbury, so I looked after orientation and graduation for Pacific students and community. And then at that time, my now wife was already graduated, had landed a job in Auckland, and she was there for a year already. So we were doing long distance while she was working for New Zealand. So I kind of got shoulder tapped to apply for a job up there. So still working for UC, but in Auckland. And I was like, well, this is like a dream come true. So long story short, ended that, moved to Auckland. And my job was to promote the University of Canterbury in Auckland, but across the North Island. So then I got to travel and pretty much preaching Christchurch and UC, which is, again, was amazing. I mean, I was born and bred here. So, and then I came to this university as well. But not gonna lie, like the best job, like it was so good. The money was good, travel was good, like all of that was paid for. But during that time, it was really hard to promote UC. Like I was in that role when the mosque shootings happened, which was rough. Like again, that's another podcast episode. And then I don't know if many people remember it, but if you've just started going to uni, you know there's a process in terms of you find out you're accepted, you find out what hall you're into, massive deal. Especially when you're year 13. Like, am I gonna be with my friends? So the week that those offers were gonna come out, we find out that there was a student that unfortunately had passed away
In the dorms. Yeah.
and no one found him for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that was that week. So
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, obviously the university had to deal with that, support the family through it. But then people that had applied for that hall
Yeah. We're like, nah.
had just been cut.
Yeah.
So they're like, congratulations, Alby,
Yeah.
you're going to be in uni hall. And
Yeah.
they're
Like, what?
hey, I
What?
don't
That's the
apply
one
for
I'm,
uni
yeah,
hall.
I saw that on the news.
And then they're like, call this number. And then they call the number and I'm like, hi, this is Tumama Tu'ulua University of Canterbury. So we were fielding
Wow.
phone calls and questions from
Parents and students, and
Oh,
they're like, what's
man.
going on? Why am I? Yeah.
And I get it, as a parent now, you're like, oh, I don't want my baby to go to.
Yeah.
And then the reactions too, some people are like, oh, all good, I still want to stay there. And I'm like, you can't. Just shut.
Yeah.
And then others were like, well, nah, like, how is it that you don't have processes in place
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and then I'm actually taking my kid out.
Yeah.
So, and then even with, because we traveled a lot, like we spoke at schools, at expos.
Yeah. Oh,
so when
you've
someone-
spoken at my schools, and I've been to your events. I've seen you in action.
Alright.
You're a recruiter. That's
So-
you're trying to get people in the door here.
Hard. And at those events too, like when those things happen, you're just free for all, right?
Yeah.
Because parents come,
Yeah.
there's ones that know their research. I had no idea what helicopter parent meant
Yeah,
until I
yeah.
did that role, and I was like, all right.
Wait until your
fully
girls do
understand.
dance or
Bro.
or netball.
But but that was an awesome job, eh? Like,
Yeah.
and one thing I met, because you're essentially competing against every other university and alternative options.
Yeah.
So that's the Army, the Navy, that's BCITO, which aggressive, by the way. But
Can you elaborate on the aggressive?
I get it. Like,
You get it, but tell us, because it's content.
again, I figured it out later. Like when I went to MIT and I worked at a Unitec, at a politics, sorry. But yeah, universities, we're snobs. Like we think we're like up here, and this is coming from someone that worked there. But I was like, nah, we're all inclusive, and but like the narrative is that you go to high school, you do well enough that you get into uni, you get a degree, and then you go into the workforce. That's kind of like the pathway. And then if you go to a polytech, heaven forbid, it's because you're not as good and you couldn't get into uni, and there's all that sort of stuff. And then if you're a BCITO trying to get people into trades, like they have to fight against that.
Yeah.
And then there's also the stigma where like, oh, well, you're doing a trade because you're not smart enough.
Yeah.
So fair enough, just out the gate, I remember they used to have this slide and they used to compare the income of a lawyer for the first 5 years versus the income of a tradie
Yeah.
for the first 5 years. But this is like from 19 to whatever it was. And the tradie, obviously, because they get qualified faster, they can make money quicker. But obviously the lawyer in the long run kills it. It's it's a much more sustainable, but they would have that. But the rest of us were kind of kumbaya. We're like, hi, I'm Tul from UC. You should come down, like, but they were just like
Ruthless.
And I remember at the time I was like, whoa. But now in hindsight, I completely understand.
Yeah.
Like, but the cool thing about that role too is that we competed against other universities, but at that time, and I was in a general role. So what I mean by that is that when I was here at UC originally, I was running specific events, specific engagements, specific programs.
Yeah.
But then I was just the general liaison officer recruitment for UC.
So you're foot in both mainstream
Yeah.
and then Pacific.
No, but I was completely Pacific in this role.
Yeah.
But I just happened to be Samoan.
Yeah.
But every other university was exactly the same. We were all Māori and Pacific.
Yeah.
And because you travel to these towns for a week, so we all became really, really close and really, really good friends.
Yeah.
And even now, like we're still really tight, even though people would assume and they'll try to put us against each other. But like, we don't care, man. Like as long as if Alby is going to get into higher education, I don't care if it comes to me or you're going to do medicine in Auckland. Like, so yeah. But the craziest thing about that story now in 2026 is that it was a bit of a hard slog. Like I talk about those events, but then also like pre-earthquake. Post-earthquake. Which that post-earthquake seemed like it went for a decade.
Yeah.
But we will talk about it all the time. Like, yes, it sucks now, but you're going to be in a city that's growing. You're going to be in one of the most modern cities in the world.
Yeah.
People would laugh, and it's like, I get it. And then again, because I'm from here, like I'm hearty, gracious.
Yeah.
And even in Nape, because Nape, like Hawke's Bay was one of my things. And I was just like, look at you guys, you're a prime example. Like, to this date, it's still the biggest earthquake New Zealand's ever had. Even where the airport is in Napier, that was all water. And because of the earthquake, that land came up. So, and I was just like, and now every year, they're like the Art Deco capital of New Zealand, and it's because when they rebuilt, that was like
that was the thing.
that was the thing.
Yeah.
So they had looking at the Great Gatsby and all that sort of stuff. So there they were a little bit more open to it. But you know, fast forward to now, it's just like, man, UC's numbers are crazy. They built like a 500, 600 bed accommodation, I think about 4 or 5 years ago. To cope with it, they just opened another one, and it's still not enough. Like,
wow.
And you know, you've got a new stadium, new convention centre,
Yeah.
new library. There's new buildings here.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone's just like, oh my gosh, it's such a cool. Like, Electric Avenue started as an O-Week event, and is now the biggest event in New Zealand.
Yeah. It's selling itself now.
And it's I love Otago, but that was the thing. Like, if you were in the North Island and you were willing to move to the South Island, people were going to Otago.
Yeah.
And because that was like the party.
Yeah.
But I used to always say, I was like, man, like, but Otago's cold.
Yeah.
I don't think that's anymore, but I was just like, man, like, once you get over the fact that at the University of Otago and realize you're living in Dunedin, I was like, yes. And,
shout out Dunedin.
Shout out Dunedin. I love you. I'd be like, you have to put your butter in the fridge to keep it warm. Like, honestly, I have lists of like one-liners like that.
Yeah.
But you see it now, like, because now you can go out in any city, but it's just like, would you, and you can see that shift, you know, obviously drinking habits aren't the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, now you can just get drunk here.
Yeah.
In a nice brand new apartment.
Yeah.
Go to a brand new town, you know. So, but yes, sorry, Auckland. That was a long.
No, that's okay.
But that's how I ended up in Auckland in the first place, was because of still working for UC, but doing recruitment for them in the North Island, and that's kind of how I kick-started those relationships up there, which I wouldn't have got if I stayed here. And,
Just your story is just so unique, and that's why I wanted to speak to you, because it is unique. It's like rugby and these roles in university is all about connection. You know, it's not about, you know, you in doing the study. It's not about you on the field playing the rugby. Those are big parts, but it's the relationships you built for all of those events. And do you think that's helped, you know, apart from who you are and your family and your heritage, but have all of those influences and those times in rugby and UC and MIT pushed you towards this entrepreneurship, trying to build like the work that you're doing in ECE sector?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a massive part. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was just like, oh, how beautiful is it to know someone before you need anything from them? You know, like you talk about being more than transactional when you meet with people, and I think it's exactly like you said, like all of those relationships, but also the diversity in the roles that I've done. Like, I've been really fortunate with the stuff that I've done, that now I'm able to do that, but instead for one organisation, I get to do it for a raft of different organisations. And a lot of that sort of stuff has come from, like, we had no digital footprint for a long time, and it was just through relationships, through the Kumara Vine, through people, word of mouth, and I think that's kind of how we've always kind of wanted it to be. Like, we didn't actually want anyone's in there, because we're still a little bit shy too. I think a little bit of imposter syndrome even now. Like, and then with footy, the same thing. Like, I did a talk to a bunch of first years actually about a month ago, and always a good exercise when you get asked to talk about yourself and you make a presentation. You have a moment to reflect on everything that you've done. And I put up a slide, and it had my working career. So, you know, everything that I just talked about. You know, moving up to Auckland, because then I ended up working at MIT, came back to UC, and then I ended up at Core Education as a product designer, and then now I do our thing, our consultancy. So I put it out, and it was just like, put it on the timeline from 2016 to now, so 10 years, because I think it was the time when everyone was doing that. In 2016, the last year I was like, okay, well, I want to do that, but on my timeline. And then I overlaid the rugby teams I played for at the same time, and everyone's just like, well, how did you do it all? And I think, you know, I always say now when I talk to schools and little kids, I'm like, oh, I was good enough at rugby where I played with and against some of the best players in the world. You know, like I played against and with a number of All Blacks and internationals, but then I wasn't good enough where I had to still have a job. I had to still have plan B, which was essentially plan A. But then, like you said, it comes handy when it comes to relationships. But then even now, right? Like, I'm in class right now. We talk about all of these massive concepts in that and frameworks, and all the other words that they had. But for me, like sometimes, like I understand it, but the easiest way I understand it is when I just relate it to rugby.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even yesterday we talked about interdependency in terms of leadership style.
Yeah.
And how everyone has mana, everyone knows what they want to do, and how that's hard for organizations because usually you have a CEO, very hierarchical, I'm the boss, you know, and I am the all-knowing, and then they talk about how, but really that interdependency is what you're trying to achieve. And then I was just like, in the workplace, 100%, and I can see the barriers, but then that is what team sport is all about. Like, I know my role, you know your role, we're all trying to do the same thing. If you lose, I lose, like, and it's like similar, we all got to tackle, all got to run, but then, you know, a hooker is the only one that throws the ball, halfback's got to, you know, first five or fullback will kick the ball, so it's like all interdependent and everyone's success depends on everyone else, like, so that's the other part. So I guess to wrap all of that, 100%, like in terms of the nature of the work that I do now, the way that I get contracts, but then also the way that I just think about life. Like sometimes people try to overcomplicate stuff, but when I refer it to rugby, it just makes it a whole lot easier. Like, and that's what I love about rugby is that, you know, you have 80 minutes where everyone knows the rules. It's also refereed. And the other thing which sucks sometimes, but it's like the sport doesn't discriminate. Like you could have broken up with your wife at 2, kick-offs at 2:45. Like, bro, that game does not care. Like you've got to perform when you've got to perform. When you relate that to organizational and your job, sometimes it's hard. But like when you think about that in sport, I'm like, well, you just got to do what you got to do. Like, and then obviously, you know, it's how
you've found a way to process and share the information and knowledge you have through the rugby.
100%.
This episode is fired up by our mates at Spicy Boys Limited. Jay and the team have gone from farmers markets to supermarket shelves across Te Waipuna. We're talking about the Oi Oi and the Yearboy and the OG. If you want to spice up your life, you need a bottle of this in your pantry right now. Spicy Boys. Local heat, world-class flavour. Spicy.
And so, what are you and your wife? Because I follow you guys' stories. You guys are in the grind. You talk about consultancy. Well, we're in I think this floor is called the entrepreneurial floor. We're a couple of entrepreneurs here. You know, we've created some businesses. What are you and your wife grinding on?
So yeah, I think adults call it consultancy, but yeah, we do contracts and we deliver just different pieces of work for different organizations. So some of the stuff we do is we run events and conferences. Been lucky that we ran one in Tahiti last year. We're running one in a couple of weeks at the new convention centre in Auckland. But then we do like strategy work. So we do some stuff with the early childhood centres here in Christchurch. And then sometimes we do like branding, like it's all a bit of a mixed bag. But essentially it's, you know, and I saw it in a video the other day, it's just like, you know, getting young people, aimed at young people, getting them to look at the work that they do as paid training. So it's like, if this is the job you do, these are the skills that you need. Utilize that as things that you are training yourself to be able to do. And I never really thought about it that way, but that's essentially what I do now. It's that it's a bit of a mixed bag, and it's probably not very good business practice because everyone says you can't do everything for everyone. At the moment, we're literally doing everything for everyone. But I think early on, you can't be picky, man. When you're starting a business, like, we don't have that luxury yet. But that's essentially it. And there's obviously filters and things that we always ask ourselves. And one of the big ones is this: does it impact the community that we're a part of? Does it positively impact? If it's, and we haven't had it yet, we've been quite lucky. Like, it wasn't even on purpose, but like everything that we've done so far has worked with either the Pacific community or organizations and groups that work with the Pacific community and want to engage with them better. So it's stuff like that. And again, being values based, again, we're Samoan, so it's kind of drilled into us, but trying to apply that into the way that we do business as well, it's been pretty important. And I think we talked about it before, like, we've got 3 daughters, so Betty's 4, and then there's 3, and then Wanale's 10 months. So all obviously quite young as well. But then the same thing, like, we're working with early childhood education. Like, my background's in tertiary. I've done a little bit in secondary. If you told me 6 years ago that I'd be working in ECE, I'd be like, why in the world would I then you have kids, and you're like, okay, and then you realize how valuable early childhood and daycare is. Man, I love my kids, but holy, like, if I was with them every day, like, every minute, like...
That's why I'm a high school teacher. I could not do nappy issues.
Oh, man.
Kids pissing themselves in the middle of the ground, you know, tantrums. I give it up. Primary and ECE, I give it up to them.
Straight up. But that's it, and that's what, like, you know, that's kind of one of the main lenses, is that can we see, does it impact our community in a positive way? And at that point, we'd almost do whatever. Like some of the work we have done for free, but that's, you know, I think the events and conferences, that probably what pays the bills, and then everything else is kind of just, we'll take it as it comes. But one of the things that me and Meli talked about is just like, oh, you know, like how awesome is it, right? Like, because being blessed that I probably have a commitment issue. Like I haven't had the same job for more than 2 years. Like, can tell. I haven't been at one place for...
If we had a version of your CV, it'd be quite long.
Bro, it's huge. So like, quite lucky, and then also the relationships that you talked about too, and it's like, and then the rugby too, right? Like rugby, and I think in terms of, again, relationships, but also the experience too, because that's the other thing, like, you typically work with people that are similar-ish. Like if you're a teacher, everyone has a teacher's degree, knows what that's like. Rugby, holy, like they could be a Sparky, they could be an executive, like you have no idea. But anyway, I say all that because me and Meli were talking about, it's just like, what's the point of knowing how to do all of those things, knowing all of those connections, and then the people in the community that matters most to you doesn't see it? Like what are you learning it for? Like, and again, like I can say that from a very privileged position where we're in a rare airspace where we get to do things that tick those boxes, like has impact. We're getting paid enough money that our bills are being paid, and then because we've got young kids, like I work from home and I'm self-employed, right? So I'm available to my kids. They don't want me, but like, I'm available to them whenever. Like they could be sick, they need to pick up early, they need to stay home, they need to go to this thing, I can just go. Like, and that's, very blessed. And it's the same thing, like I'm doing, like Meli so my wife has her master's already. She did it in business management here, started when she was pregnant, don't know, had some complications, but anyway, did it full time in a year and a half. So now I'm starting too. I'm doing my master's in business administration, but it's the same sort of thing. It's like the first day was just like, well, if my wife can do that, then And my mum also has a master's, but hers was a dissertation through the University of Otago, and she got it when she was like 60. So like, but she has it. So and then so I'm like, well, why not? What's my excuse? I mean, we've got 3 kids and there's a whole lot of other things, but it's like, why not? And then the same thing. It's just like they asked us today. They're like, why are you doing this? And I was just like, you know, the NBA is looked at as this thing that's like world renowned,
gold standard ticket.
And I used to sell the damn thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd go and I'd be like, hey, you know, it's Triple Crown, like, blah, blah. And so I'm now doing it, but it's more so like, okay, cool. If that's the world, if that's what the world values, then let's see how someone that was kind of developed and supported by his community, right? Because I have a degree, but I did all of my learning really post degree. So it's just like, let's see how I would feel, because like, yes, it's for professional development and all that sort of stuff, but like my hope is obviously my kids. But then more than that, like it's like if I have a friend or a teammate, you know, like it may be hard to be like, oh, I don't know if I can do an MBA. But then if I see my friend or my mates, you know, my brother's friend, or if I see my teammate doing it, just to try and make that gap a little bit, that perceived gap and that whole imposter syndrome, make that gap a little bit smaller. Because I don't think I'm special, and I don't think, just like, and again, through sports, it's like, man, it just takes hard work. And a good support system, obviously, it makes a massive difference. But that's kind of why we're here. Because people are like, oh, are you trying to climb and become like a C-suite executive? And I was like, well, I don't even work for an organization. I'm self-employed. But like for me, I'm like, that's it. Like, I'm like, it's just, and there's a little bit of that competitor in me too. Like, cool, like, if that's what you think is mean, then let's have a crack and let's see how we go.
I just give up to you in terms of you've left some high-paying, high security, in terms of job security careers. Now you have walked away from those on purpose, unless you were fired, but let's not talk about it on camera. But you walked away from all of that security, and I guess when we're looking at this business model for ourselves, I teach business studies this year, and it's funny. We were talking about wastage and spend when they were thinking about market day. I said, I wasted a whole year of paying for the one fish, one scoop domain. And do I have a website? No. I don't even have a website. Don't be that kind of CEO. Don't waste money. And so it's just, we're still learning. And we're at that point, I'm at that point where I have job security, job salary. It helps us get, what we need. Then you have these aspirations, and you want to upskill, you want to pursue this passion, and this is all side hustle stuff. Buying this camera and these mics, this is side hustle. It's not budgeted for, but it's a passion. And I'm just thankful my wife backs it. But it's like when should someone, take that step like you have, where it's just like it's all or nothing now. Everyone's story is different, and you're right. It's all about support systems and just knowing that if we take the step, we've got to do it together, and we've got to be on the same page, because there's going to be some rough months, rough weeks. Income's not always going to be, in.
No.
Yeah. When do you know that was the right call?
So ours kind of came from. So we had actually started in 2023. So we had started off as a side hustle. We were doing some strategy work for the early childhood centres. But at the time, Meli had her job, I had mine. But then I actually got made redundant at the end of 2024. So at that point, I was like, okay, well, do I look for
another job,
or do I now try and go full steam ahead? So for me, I think it was kind of out of necessity. And then I was really lucky that at that time, I got offered a contract literally the day before.
Yeah.
So I was having conversations about, can I go part-time? And then found out the next day they were all getting redundant. So I was like, oh, okay.
Don't worry about part-time.
Hard. Me and my boss, so we were all kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
So like, we were quite lucky in that, and kind of in that aspect where it was just like, well, there's no better time than now. And then we've just been really lucky that, like, honestly, by hours and days, Josh managed to find contracts that have kind of kept us like ticking over. But I think, I don't really have anything wise to say, but like from my experience anyway, like one thing is that there's never a perfect time.
Yeah.
Like there's always going to be something. So, and again, we were about to have another kid. So this was December, and Monolay was due in March.
Yeah.
So like obviously my wife's 6 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my gosh, like we're down to just one income.
Yeah.
And she's on so
baby on the way, mortgage.
Baby on the way, mortgage, holy and rates. Yeah. That just seem to keep going up. Yeah. So there's never a right time. But then that's the other thing, like, and we talk about support systems, but also like, you talk about AT2, like that's that whole no one's is never going to be 50-50, whether that's a relationship with your wife, whether that's a relationship with your business partner, or everything else. Like, it's understanding that part, I think, is really key too. Like, trying to, because if you go into it thinking, that's going to be like this, it's going to be all of these things,
planned out.
It's just like, oh man, you got to be agile. Like, it's, and there, man, honestly, just connecting with smart people, like, and that's not even just about being smart.
No,
just
but it's just people who know a system or know something about this and know something about that.
100%. Because like you can never know, and that's it. Like we talk about it now, all of these acronyms that we learn about in class, but like, that's one thing. Like leadership's changing too. Like because everything's changing so quick. Back in the day, you had that guy that's been here for 20 years, knows everything about the business. It's like you can't know everything anymore.
It's changing so fast.
You can't, literally. So. It's just like, how is this guy that's been here for 20 years, what's he going to tell me about AI? Even though I hate talking about it because everyone talks about it. So, like, that's it. Like, it's getting the right people around you. And then the biggest thing, bro, is that, like, there is no right time for anything. Like, there's always going to be, and I'm telling myself that in terms of going back to the gym. So I'm like, maybe I should just start it on like a Saturday instead of waiting for Monday. But, and the other thing, too, is just, I'm still trying to figure it out. You know, it's the same when I used to tell kids when I was doing recruitment, when they didn't know what to do after high school, and you know, didn't know what they wanted to study, what do they want to be when they were older. And I was like, I'm still the same. Like, at that point, I was like 28, 26, and I was like, I don't know what I want to be, and they would laugh.
Yeah.
And now that we're doing this, I'm still the same. Like,
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, I'm doing one contract, doing a conference. We're running Polyfest for one contract.
Yeah.
We're talking to schools about possible strategy work. Like, it's just going with the flow, but I think just keeping the main thing. So whatever that is for you. So for me, like, I'm obviously a father to young kids. So the number one thing for me is, can I be as available to my wife and to my kids as possible? And then everything else comes second. So for me, yeah, maybe if someone was to come with a high paying job, then I might consider it. But then I have to weigh that up against, can I be as available as a father and a husband as I am now? And to be honest, that's what makes it worth it. Like, because it is tough, like you said, but I'm a contractor, so you know, I don't have the steady income coming in. I get paid monthly for one of my contracts right now, and then everything else is kind of just drip fed. And now I'm a full-time student as well, so it's kind of like, I don't really know, but it's just keeping the main thing.
But the focus was, you're still available to your wife and your kids.
100%.
And
everything else will come secondary.
Yeah.
And then obviously my family after that.
Yeah.
Like my parents and my siblings and my wife's family too.
Yeah.
Very close second. But that's kind of the lens that I look at. And it's a lot realer when, like, when it's actually your income that's you're talking about. Like,
It's easier to say when you got the safety net of a salary.
But when you don't. And that's the other thing. And I think, like, one thing is that Meli still has a job, right? So that's the next stage for us, is that we're also at that stage where we're okay and we get contractors in, but we're at that stage where we don't have a contract big enough to bring people in, and one that will get Meli to leave her job. So
it's just you doing all the grind day to day.
Man. And then Meli will help as well, because she's part-time at the moment, but that's my thing. And there's obviously perks to working in New Zealand. Yeah. But to me, I'm like, oh mate, if we save 10 grand on flights a year, can we just find a contract that's worth 10 grand? So it's kind of, it's that mindset that we're trying to. That was a lot, but hopefully you can.
No, I love that. Honestly, bro, it's the stories you're saying it's you know, it's where my mind's always at. You know, I don't want to be a deputy principal for the rest of my life. You know, I don't want to be in. I don't want to be in secondary education the rest of my life. And I'm knowing that more and more. The grind every year, it's becoming more clear. I don't want this to be my only career pathway, but it's like, I have this spark and this passion to do content. But again, because my grind and my whole work life is this role, I just don't have time for it. You know, so shout out to Jakey who edits these. Shout out to Drummy, who's my co-host, who helps. I don't watch any of these back. He watches all of them, and then he tells the editor what to cut out and what not. I'm just on
sorry, bro. You're probably gonna want to cut out half of my stories and rambling.
We'll keep it all, bro. I just appreciate your story, and just that mind you have.
You're so driven.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Very.
Yeah.
I don't think
I mean, you know, it's what has driven me. It's just like.
It sounds like you're constantly hungry, which is amazing.
I think,
hungry, but it's not like, I want millions. It's not that kind of driven and hungry. I want to be the CEO of Air New Zealand. You know, it's like you know what you're trying to drive for, your family, your community, your people. So
and that's, you know, you're talking about what you're saying, like, and we've also attempted like trying to involve as many of our friends with businesses and stuff as possible, like. Because obviously when we run events, you need caterers, photographers, like, you know, we've used Sam, like we've used, even for the event that we're running, they need like 130 uniforms. So then we've been contacting our family and friends that have sewing companies and clothing companies in Auckland. But it's the same thing, like, how can you leverage and utilize as much as possible?
But then you're then outsourcing that to Pacific people and Pacific businesses, to Pacific communities. You know, so One Fish, One Scoop Media will just hopefully be one of those contracts that you send out. No, just shout out to you, bro. So, funny story. Tool just randomly messages and says, "Hey guys, I got this Swedish company. or I don't know, a Swedish company, gaming company that wants to, boys, just come around and we'll pay you. Just have to make some, just have to perform some haka. Just have to perform some haka for this video game. I'm like, what? Okay, let's do it. I tell my boy. So me and Kavika come in the car. We're like, where are we? I don't know. I've never been to this place. We walk in and you've asked group of these random rugby boys, all islanders, and we're going to come and do haka. Thank God we had a consultant there.
Yeah.
Shout out to the brother, I forgot his name. Komi. And then we were just doing haka for like 5 hours straight. But that's I guess I've had a wee sneak peek.
But that's exactly it. Yeah. That's literally the format. Like it's simple as what is it that people need? How is it that we can support or meet that need or find a solution for them? And how is it that you can involve or I can involve our community as much as possible?
Yeah.
Like, that's a hilarious example, but that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. A Swedish company had contacted my rugby club to say we need a bunch of people to come and do audio for a video game. And I was like, okay. And they're like, but it's haka. And I was like, and then obviously, like you said, I was like, but we're not Māori. So then they're like, we have a consultant who's a lecturer at UC. So I met him beforehand.
Just to make sure this legit.
Okay, legit. He won an award, a music award, like 2 weeks after we.
Wow.
So like you said, we rock up to the studio. I have no idea what it is. And they're literally, they've just got off like, the camera people, they just arrived from Sweden. Came straight there. Yeah.
They were probably like, what is this?
But it's not like us performing an actual hug, because that's just it's cultural appropriate. What's it called? That's not culturally appropriate. We're not performing any haka. It's just haka sounds. Like so.
You guys had your tops off.
Yeah, well, we eventually did to get the authenticity.
Oh, mate.
And then it was literally, it wasn't any, we didn't perform any haka, it was just haka action, right?
Sounds.
And then it was just like, and then we were just like, trying not to laugh at each other, because we are islanders.
Yeah.
We're just, one little glimpse, we're just like, what are you doing that? And then we got into it. Tops off.
Oh, right.
Got to work.
Yeah, because we did the haka sounds, and then the mata to Opiki Super Rugby team, because it'll be females that actually vocalise it. So they recorded them the day after us, and that was the thing that shocked me, was that we didn't know the format or anything.
Yeah.
He'd clearly never heard, because he found everything just amazing.
Yeah.
And then the thing that shocked me was like how long we did it for.
Yeah.
And I haven't done any physical activity since I stopped. And we were jumping. I remember that first time we jumped side to side.
Yeah.
Bro.
It was
after
a
like
workout.
10 seconds, I was like,
It was a workout.
can't you just cut it and loop it? Like, that was.
But it was what you had done, and you talked about it throughout this whole episode, is you weaved in a whole bunch, it's just rugby players. Or people that your friends, all walks of life, have just come in, and we're all on the same journey. And it was some really good, funny moments. But there were
only 3 Sydney rugby players there.
Okay.
The rest of them were just.
And that was original, right? You were trying to do a wee, fundraiser opportunity for the Sydney rugby.
And then that took too long. I was like, stuff it. I'm just going to put it out wider and then just pay them.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it was a lot longer. We didn't get fed.
Yeah. Well,
some of you guys had kids.
Well, no, with the camera people put down their food and we quickly ate their chips.
They went to the bathroom, came back, was like, all the wedges were gone.
Should we say something to these guys? No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. I've had a little glimpse, but I've seen you at Brian from afar. It's very similar cadence and drive that we see with our brother. You've interviewed him, Matt.
Man.
In terms of just that vision of what next for our people, what next, not just for me, but my kids, the next generation, and it's long lasting. It's something that's going to last longer than you, know, and so that's why I always find it interesting. And we don't always get right into the mix on ground level with his work, but it's like this. We just look from afar, admire wherever we can, we'll support, and hopefully through this episode, brother, people can hear. And just look at your journey and be motivated or inspired to take that step into something that they might not think is right or might not think the right time is. But bro, I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Hopefully you can play this for your lecture and they'll come in and it's like, what was it? Oh, I've just got interviewed.
It was just Mike McRoberts.
Yeah, they were just interviewing about my journey. Oh.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for the Captain Beans as well.
All good, brother.
It's been a very long time since I've had it.
Yeah. Well, the episode I was hoping to bring you on, I was hoping we could cover for the episode. And you were going to send me a picture last night at the brother's house, but you must have got right into it as soon as you got there.
I died practically as soon as I got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, classic example. So I started going to cover. I don't even know how. Oh, Sam Franklin.
Yeah.
So he took me there one time. So I've started covering with them. But then the Fijians, it's usually at one of the Fijians' house.
Yeah.
They play, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like not your standard Islander songs. Like he plays like Balangi songs.
It's not the conversation that went viral.
Nah.
That's the Paikanga.
Pretty sure that looks like yeah. But so yeah, one of the boys he always jams, but then like when we're in his garage, he has it like fully set up with an amp.
Yeah.
So after like 3 or 4 sessions, I was looking at it, I was like, man,
Yeah.
I was like, I would pay you to do that at one of our events.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about? Because he had no idea what I did. I was just one of the boys just sitting there having cover. And then we got a random contract to do an event out in Ashburton.
Yeah.
I was like, I pay you X amount to come and perform. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
Like for him, it was
Because this is what we do, man.
Yeah.
the same way that I was like, hey, this is Swedish radio game.
Yeah.
Set of the future.
Yeah.
And they need Maori.
Yeah.
Again, I understand. And because I only known him for a few months.
Yeah.
But then, so he declined. I was like, all good. So then I sent an SOS. The Cook Islander group came. And then in our group chat, I sent a video. I was like, this is what I was wanting you to do.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think he clicked that I was legit.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, if there's anything else that comes up. So then the PD that we ran here?
Yeah.
So
The one I skipped.
So then after that, we went to dinner.
Yeah.
And then he played during dinner.
Yeah.
And then, got him some cash. Obviously, we would have loved to pay more, but that contract doesn't have too much money, so...
But it's just a glimpse. It's an option.
Yeah. And then people were like, because he was amazing. And he was like, where'd you get him from? And I was like, I have cover with him. And they were just like, honestly, they were disgusted. And I was like,
because it's like, what's his business? Yeah, does he do this for a living? It's like, it's just one of the brothers.
Yeah.
We'll meet each other later on, maybe in the week, and we'll do it in his garage.
And everyone, as soon as they found out I knew him from cover, they're like, nothing else. I was like, no. I met him literally in his garage, drinking cover. And then it annoyed me a little bit. It was just like, so when academics talk about cover and sitting around the cover board and don't know about
but if
when you actually do it.
Oh no. And we can get to all the political and the politics of each role of yours, but that'd be another whole podcast. But brother, I hope that I wish you all the best. And all the UC stuff going on. I'm a student here and I'm trying to get jobs. Brother, I hope your MBA goes well. I'm pretty sure it will. And I hope you and your family are well, and I wish you all the best. And I will come to the next cover session. Just didn't have a babysitter last night.
Sorry, also very last minute.
Up to now. As you text. Oh, no, come around for go. I live in Rolleston. I have no babysitter.
Up to now at 9 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah. But let's just, I love to keep connecting, bro, and I love to do it in this form. Whatever next is your journey, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's us.